doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart.
Tony Bennett's Cold, Cold Heart was on everybody's hit parade. Elizabeth Taylor was getting married. Boys wore ducktails. The police action in the Far East was Korea. And Anarene, Texas, like other small towns, is approaching the end of an era.
So let's begin our last movie show with Sophie going down the upper part of Wild Cards, closely followed by Laura. It was a nice day today. Then we get back on Prima and we'll see the Bassmaster doing some incredible turns on the top of Brown's face. That is absolutely perfect. I hate you. We're back on Wild Card again, about halfway down the place. Laura went first. Blair's coming up. Let's see how he does here. Yep, he's finding a good line. Very nice. Very dynamic. We're going to slow down in a minute, and there's Sophie standing there. Her husband's a little uphill from her. She starts out, but let's focus on Matt for a change and see if he can keep his upper body a little quiet. Oh boy, he sure does. Yeah, those are nice turns down there too. We'll keep going down lower Wild Card at the moment. Laura's skiing very quickly. It almost looks like she's skating down here. Those are really, really quick turns. Let's jump around again to Prima. We're in Brown's face right now. There's a ski instructor out in front of Lee, but I can't tell which one is the instructor and which one is the instructee. That's a good thing. We've moved over to Highline. This is really good skiing. Perfect fall line. Look at that upper body straight. Beautiful skiing right down the fall line. We're back on lower Wild Card. Laura keeps making these great turns. There's Weldon to the right and Blair to the left. We're about to collect each other up and finish these last few bumps and head very, very quickly down to the Game Creek Bowl lift, and we'll head out of there in a second or two. So where are we now? Let's see Sophie going down ahead of the pack on Kangaroo Cornice, closely followed by Laura. Matt's off to the right, and there he goes. He's working really hard to not be called the Mambo King again. It still has a little bit of that upper body. There goes Weldon, keeping his hands out where they belong. That's great. Do we have Daddy next? There he goes. He finally puts his poles on. The cameraman's trying to follow him. It's not going to work. We'll just watch Dad go anyway. He's having a nice time on Kangaroo Cornice too. After Kangaroo, we head down to this goofy double fall line run called the Waterfall. Matt's staying out in front, and he's staying nice and tall. Shortly after that, we venture to the back bowls. We're now on Milt's face. There's Weldon, and guess who's ahead of him? Little Matt. They're disappearing in the distance. That's fine too. We had a good run out there. There goes Blair. Right now we're in the trough between Milt's and Slot. This is a really steep part of Highline, and that's Laura out in the middle. The next day we're over toward Lion's Head. Sita's way out ahead on us on Minnie's Mile, and Laura's just behind her. But both are doing some really nice skiing down these bumps on the top. It gets a little tougher when we get over the edge, and there's a lot of rocks over there, so I think we'll slow down when we get around the corner here. Finishing up in Lion's Head, we go down the preserve. Both are making really nice turns on some kind of choppy snow that usually is a lot smoother, but it was decent this day. Now we're back on Prima. You can see Lee out ahead and Blair behind. We don't know who that is down waiting for us on Pronto, but both these guys are making great turns, and it's really nice to watch. It's the next day. We've arrived in blue sky. Sita gets to lead off. I think Laura's way down there in the white. And we're sticking close to the trees. There goes Blair. Nice turns through these little bumps on the top. Pretty day out. The snow wasn't great this day, however. It got a little bitter near the bottom, but it sure wasn't nice near the top. There goes Lee. He's sticking to the same line. Nice skiing, though. We're almost near the bottom of the divide now. Here's our group gathered up. Blair leads off. He's going over toward the trees on the left and going to try to find his way through these kind of quirky little bumps at the bottom. Snow is a little better here. It's getting softer now that we're lower in elevation. There goes Lee. He's kind of following the same line and making some nice turns too. So what happens next? Our intrepid instructor, Tom Gingrich, shows us some nice pivot skids on these bumps to make it easier for anyone to get through tough little bumps if you want to go a little slower. I think Sita's going to follow shortly. She's looking, and there she goes. The cameraman's trying to keep up and not doing a very good job at all. He's intimidated by the bumps. Sita's not. She's kicking them. We're nearing the end of the day, and we've gone to Highline. There goes Laura making some great turns. Really quick, right down the fall line, in the middle part of it. Sita pops out from the side. Yep, she knows what she's doing too. And there goes her intrepid instructor, Tom Gingrich, right behind her. We're going to keep our eye on you, Sita. You're starting to look too good. Dad takes off next. He's found a good line, but whoops! There's a wild skier to the left that's kicked him off the line. He finds another one, and he's doing just fine with that one too. Sita follows. Look at the size of these bumps. She's doing just fine in them. Let's watch her all the way down. Maybe ever the bump, but they're nice turns. Dad's found another good line right on the edge of the run. It gets really steep here. Look at the people disappearing over the edge. Probably the last run of the day. We're heading down Brown's Face on Prima right now. Sita's heading down right next to the trees and making some really nice turns. She said this is absolutely the fastest run she's ever had on Prima. So that's very impressive. It's time for the dads to get going too. There goes Blair in his new red Chus jacket, looking very hot. And who do we have here? Our green Chus jacket. It's Mr. Bass, and he's having a fine time too. It's always good to see all these people on the same run together. They're having a lot of fun out here. That's the way life should be. We've ended up at our bar. Everybody's having a fine time. Let's have a little shot of schnapps to celebrate the last day of the season and look forward to a great one next year too.
You wouldn't believe how this country's changed. I reckon the reason why I always drag you out here is probably I'm just as sentimental as the next fella when it comes to old times. Old times.